2014-026491. Complainant notified commission that respondent dealer allowed a customer to drive a loaner vehicle while her vehicle was being repaired and placed tag registered to customer's car on the loaner vehicle. Respondent admitted to misuse of tag and stated they would issue a temporary tag in the future. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $250 for misuse of tag to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 33, case number 2014-026621. Respondent dealer received an agreed citation for failure to properly maintain a temporary tag log and for failure to maintain city or county business tax license. Respondent has not paid the citation nor disputed the facts therein. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $2,500 for failure to properly maintain a temporary tag log, failure to maintain city or county business tax license, and failure to respond to communication from the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 34, case number 2014-026641. Respondent dealer received an agreed citation for employing unlicensed salesman. Respondent has not paid the citation nor disputed the facts therein. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $1,500 for employing an unlicensed salesman and failure to respond to communication from the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 35, case number 2014-026671. Respondent dealer received an agreed citation for failure to maintain or post regular business hours and for failure to maintain city or county business license. Respondent has not paid the citation nor disputed the facts therein. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $2,000 for failure to maintain city or county business license, failure to post or maintain regular business hours, and failure to respond to communication from the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 36, case number 2014-028131. Complainant alleges that he was misled by respondent dealer regarding the condition of the vehicle he purchased, as well as the amount of his monthly payments. Respondent denies any deception and provided documentation of as-is sale and financing contract with amount and frequency of payments, all signed by complainant. Recommendation close. Number 37, case number 2014-028391. Respondent dealer received an agreed citation for failure to maintain city or county business license. Respondent is contesting the citation. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $500 for failure to maintain city or county business license to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 38, case number 2014-028401. Respondent dealer received an agreed citation for failure to maintain city or county business license. Respondent is contesting the citation due to the fact that they obtained a new license 1 week after violation was noted. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $500 for failure to maintain city or county business license to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 39, case number 2014-028421. Respondent dealer received an agreed citation for failure to maintain city or county business license and failure to produce business records. Respondent has closed the business since the agreed citation was issued. Recommendation, close and flag. Number 40, case number 2014-026601. Complainant alleged that respondent dealer would not provide registration or title to vehicle after almost a year, had issued 5 temporary tags, and complainant wanted their money back. Respondent provided tag log, which was in order, and only 2 temporary tags were issued to complainant. Respondent also documented multiple instances of attempting to contact complainant, but complainant did not return calls and phone was eventually disconnected. Additionally, mail sent to provided address was returned. Recommendation, close. Number 41, case number 2014-027761. Complainant alleged that respondent dealer misrepresented condition of vehicle. Complainant's contact information was inadvertently not saved to file, so further investigation is not possible at this time. Recommendation, close. Number 42, case number 2014-029531. Complainant alleged that respondent dealer would not provide registration or title to vehicle despite multiple assurances that it would be done by respondent dealer. Respondent stated they tried to contact complainant to notify them their tags were in the office, but the complainant is behind on payments and is not replying to respondent's messages. There was no response from complainant to respondent's statement. Recommendation, close. Number 43, case number 2014-025371. 26411, 26431, 26661, 23121, and 22451. The above complaints were withdrawn or settled between the parties after submitting to the Commission. Recommendation, close, withdrawn. Number 42, case number 2014-026511, 26521, 26541, 26561, and 29581. The above complaints were received stating that respondent dealers failed to provide proof of liability insurance. The respondents have been notified to cease and desist operations until such proof is received by the Commission. Recommendation, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $1,000 for failure to maintain liability insurance to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. Number 45, case number 2014-26591, 27091, 28201, and 19191. The above complaints were received stating that respondent dealers failed to provide titles, registrations for the purchased vehicles. The dealer has abandoned the business and is no longer operating. Surety bond information has been sent to complainants. Recommendation, close and flag. A representation, number 46, case number 2014-007741 and 2014-010211. Respondent was previously authorized a civil penalty in July 2014 for 13 incidents of advertising violations and for failure to cease and desist after notification of advertising violations. Total penalty authorized was $70,000. 13 advertising violations times $5,000 each, and $5,000 for failure to cease and desist. Counsel for respondent has advised that respondent is in compliance, has taken action internally regarding staff changes to ensure the incident does not happen again, and asked that the Commission reconsider the amount of the civil penalty. Recommendation in 2014-007741, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $5,000 for violation of TCA 5517114B1E to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. In 2014-010211, authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $13,000 at 13 incidents times $1,000 each for violation of TCA 5517114B1E to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. And that is the January 2015 legal report.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor of adopting the report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you. As of 8:55 a.m., we declare the Motor Vehicle Review Committee closed.
Still won't even turn to me.
Meeting of the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission. It is 9:05, and we'll begin with roll call by Mr. Whitson.
Mr. Roberts,
Here.
Mr. Trickett,
Here.
Mr. McNabb, Mr. Parr, Fox,
Here.
Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Norton,
Here.
Mr. Jackson,
Here.
Mr. Glavin,
Calvin, here.
excuse me, Mr. Calvin, Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Here.
Mr. Webb,
Here.
and Mr. Keck. We have
Should have a copy of the agenda for today's meeting. If you look at that, and if it is to your liking, I'll entertain.
Mr. Jackson, motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Trickett. All those by voice vote, all those in favor of approving today's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. We adopt the agenda. If you'll look further, you'll see a bit of housekeeping that we need to do. First, look at the October 10, 2014 minutes, and I'd like to approved or changed as might be needed. Richardson, would you add Commissioner McNabb?
Mr. McNabb.
Need his voice? Do we need his voice on record?
I'll wait till he sits down.
All right. In order to catch up, Commissioner McNabb, would you notify us of your presence?
McNabb is here.
Thank you. Commissioner McNabb, we're looking at the October 10, 2014 minutes. I'd add that the legal review report was approved at that meeting, so welcome to go back through the legal review report, but it's not necessary since that portion has been approved. Moves that we approve.
Jack,
Second by Commissioner Fox. By voice vote, all those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes of October 10, 2014, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. All right, we'll move on to November 13, 2014 minutes. Please examine those and
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 11/13/14 minutes.
Commissioner Jackson, second it.
motion made by Commissioner Schaefer, seconded by Commissioner Jackson to approve the minutes of November 13, 2014. Any comment, concerns? Hearing none, voice vote. All those who approve of the motion to approve the minutes of November 13, 2014 by voice vote, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The next set of minutes, it's on the agenda is December the 12th. My recollection is it was December the 3rd, 2014. 3rd, 2014 would be what we're actually looking at.
I'd like to make another motion to approve the 12/3/14 minutes.
Approve the minutes of
Jackson,
December the
second
3rd.
it.
Commissioner Jackson seconds. Any comments or concerns? Hearing none by roll call, by voice vote, those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes December the 3rd, 2014, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Thank you very much. We'll, as a point of order, we'll need to adopt, I request that you adopt Robert's Rules of Order that we've operated under for some years, but we do this. Clayton moves that we adopt Robert's Rules of Order for 2015.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Schaefer. No concerns. We'll move forward with a voice vote. All those in favor of adopting Robert's Rules of Order for 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, we adopt Robert's Rules of Order. We're moving right along a little ahead of schedule. Deputy Commissioner Bill Giannini is to come and budget. I think he's across the hall discussing the budget with another board. While we're doing that, I would like to make a sad note and recognize the passing of one of our finest motor vehicle chairmen, and that would be Mr. John Dobbs. Surgery at Vanderbilt Hospital. Commissioner Dobbs was an outstanding chairman who, during his time, helped write the rules of advertising that we operate under now. And the rules were used across the country for other states to model their advertising. Was a member of Augusta National Golf Club, and each year that I would go, I would seek him out. Most of the time I would find him. And he would ask how things are going. He always asked about Bob Weaver. And so Bob, I wanted you to know that. Fine gentleman, and we acknowledge his also former Chairman Ted Russell is it chemo treatments, and you'll keep Russell in our thoughts and prayers, and the family of he can, let me see. Coming, or do we just want to while we're doing that, we have a number of appeals this morning, and just as since we have a little time for explanation for those that are appealing the denial of their license, the staff looks at the license applications and make a routine decision without entering into who you are or what personalities or what your potential might be. It makes everything the staff does in way of denying applications is routine. The Motor Vehicle Commission can, at your request, entertain the denial of the staff, the routine denial, or it can approve a license or anything in between there. The final say-so is with these folks up here. So when you come up, we'll ask you to tell us why that the denial by the staff should be overturned, or not overturned, but altered, let's say, for your behalf, and then we'll parks. We have several this morning. We're very interested in each case, but keep them concise. How's Commissioner Giannini coming?
He's still speaking.
If let me see if there's anything else on the agenda we could be doing. If there is no objection, why don't we jump over to Director's Report in the interest of saving time, and Administrative Barry Whitson could give us that.
Thousand 759 dealers. There's process is 43. There's auctions. We added a new auction that's in Spring Hill.
Questions about the report?
Motion, Commissioner Jackson, motion to adopt the Director's Report.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jackson to approve the Director's Report, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we'll do this by voice vote. Those in favor of the motion to approve the Director's Report, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Report is approved. Cooper, we have one dealer appeal, one item without, how long would this appeal take? Is it a complex matter?
Is, and for the commission's convenience, I have provided a outline of what the staff felt was the pertinent information for you to consider in addition.
We may as well, the only thing left on the agenda is a legal review. Go to legal report. Staff Attorney Kim Cooper, and that committee is chaired by Commissioner Jackson.
Had, I think, about 40 some odd cases, and we adopted those 40 some odd cases approved according to the attorney.
I would ask the entire commission at this point to make a motion to approve the legal report as submitted. There were no to approve it as written.
Mr. Webb moved to approve, and Commissioner Galvin seconded. Any discussions or concerns? Hearing none, let's do this by roll call vote. Those in favor of the motion to approve the legal report as presented, by voice vote, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Move right along this morning. Why don't we start on the salesperson's application? I think that's all that's left. And let's get a few of those before Commissioner Giannini comes in. And we'll, when he comes in, we might pause and get his report and then go back to the Dwaylen House, Homer Skelton, Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Millington, Tennessee. Are you in the audience, sir? Welcome, sir. Fine, sir. We're going to get a clarification on why the license was denied.
Yes, sir. Mr. House submitted an application and noted on the application that he had not been convicted of a felony. However, it was, he did then submit, as asked, as requested, conviction, burglary conviction from 2012 for a 10-year sentence, a vandalism. I noted for the commission that he must have other felony convictions not disclosed because the judgments that were submitted indicated that he was a range fire if you have prior convictions. So that was why the staff denied his application.
House, seemed to be some contradictions in the application. Could we speak to comments on that from legal staff?
I would note for the commission.
Questions from commission members for Mr. House?
Crime was burglary, and it looked like victim properties and U.S. government. Can you elaborate a little bit on?
Questions? We'll hear from the gentleman that accompanied you.
Thought his job was worth fighting for, and
What is your position and what was your name and your, okay, your name, sir? Your name, sir? And would you be his supervisor?
How long has he been with you?
Mr. Jackson, just for some clarity, to the staff, the prior conviction, I know it's not listed. What were those prior convictions?
Burglary and vandalism, burglar of a building.
Not the recent one, I'm talking about,
Oh, the recent, one,
Uh-huh.
the most recent.
no,
or the
no,
old one?
the old ones, yeah.
It basically goes back to able to find a way of getting things right.
That was, how old were you when all that happened?
It was like, I was in
Staff, is that what we talking about? Previous conviction that's not listed here?
Yes, sir. In order to be classified as a persistent offender, which is what his judgment indicates that he prior felonies, to get to this point. So that's why I say to the commission, I don't know what his prior record is,
actually
other than these. Qualifies as a persistent offender.
No further questions. We'll be looking for a motion of some type.
I'll make a motion that we grant him his license.
Mr. Cricket makes a motion to grant. Second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Murray. Any discussion of the motion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for a roll call vote, and yes would be to approve the motion to grant.
Yes will be given. No. Mr. Jackson,
No?
Mr. Fox,
Yes.
Mr. Norton. No.
I'm going to abstain.
Yes.
Mr. Glavine.
Excuse me, Galvin.
Excuse me. And Mr. Roberts. I forgot about Mr. McNabb.
Left me off the list. No.
Punishment. What's your punishment?
Mr. House, the routine decision of the staff has been commission meets once a quarter.
question is,
pretty legal on that, there's it's 5 years after your sentence is served. That's the automatic denial part. Good luck, sir. Benjamin A. Myers. Morning, sir. Does it say which dealership you are applying to get a license? Larry Hill Ford Incorporated, all right. Okay, Eagle, would you give us an explanation of the routine denial?
Sir, Mr. Myers has a forgery conviction from 2012, a burglary conviction from 2012, and a theft conviction from 2012. It looks like they're all from the same incident, however. He received a 5-year sentence, and he is, a suspended sentence, and he is currently on supervised release until 2017.
Mr. Myers, would you address the commission as to why we should not have a routine denial for your application?
I've made some mistakes in my life, and
Give us a description of the forgery that you were
yes,
involved
sir.
in.
It was a roommate of mine. It was when I was the sales a part of, and he owed me money for some stuff that he.
Or the check.
We lived together.
You took one of his checks, it was made out to him, signed the check on the back, and
Yes, sir.
cashed it.
It was actually a personal check.
Wrote a check out to yourself,
Yes, sir.
and then sign it by him. You know, our decisions are based on license and be active selling motor vehicles in the state of Tennessee. You'd be handling documents, possibly paperwork. Visually some angst. Any further questions for?
Did you
Mr.
make
Schaefer.
restitution?
Yes, paid in full, and I'm currently working on my court.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Have name on it, Commissioner Clayton.
How long back did this occur?
Later, and it was in court for a while, and I actually signed that. Forgery, and they combined everything and put me on 5-year. Burglary was of personal property of someone's house.
Had no relation to
They had
each
no
other.
relation to each
Okay.
other. This was-
Okay.
Gentleman with you from the dealership?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to address the commission?
Yes, sir. My name's Victor Yoshida. I'm the sales manager that he would be working for. Talked about it. He went into detail with it and everything. I'm a firm believer in second. He's been there every day, picking up cigarettes,
That you had some documents. Let me take a look at what you had.
Dollar amount of the check you wrote.
I'm sorry,
What was the dollar amount of the check you wrote?
$100.
Make a motion, we grant his license.
Commissioner Jackson, second.
Motion by Commissioner McNabb to grant a license, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Question of the motion. Call for a vote until we got passed around these. I bet you'd like to have that check back.
Absolutely, sir.
Comment as an individual member of the commission. I really struggle with forgery. Again, our mission here at the Motor Vehicle Commission is to but your sponsor stands up here with you. He's on, but the public is a great concern. Motion to grant. Is there any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Fox,
Yes.
Mr. Norton,
Yes.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
Galvin,
Yes.
and Mr. Nab. And Mr. Roberts. Yes. Mr. Nab is.
Granted a license, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Giannini, would you like to listen to some more of this, or would you like to, or would you like to proceed?
If, you know, as riveting as it is, with all due respect, if I could go ahead and.
Right ahead, sir. Come right ahead, sir. Just tell us why we should grant you a license to sell cars.
I'm gonna move some chairs around here just for a second.
Okay. We have Deputy Commissioner Bill Giannini, and we have Assistant Commissioner Brian McCormick.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. It seemed like, I think Eddie was the last person I saw on Friday and the first person I saw this morning. Did you stay here all weekend?
Most of it.
I wanted to formally introduce the new Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards, Brian McCormack. Many of you may know Brian. He was the Director of Boards and Commissions for the Governor, and has a great familiarity with what we do here at Regulatory Boards. We're very excited to have him, and I know he's going to do a great job, and I just hope that you all will treat him with the same support that you gave me upon my arrival here. So.
Thanks, everybody.
Welcome.
The real purpose of our visit this morning is to go over your financial numbers for the last fiscal year. You all should have a copy of that in front of you. Has everybody got that? Great. I'm going to kind of move through this fairly quick. If you at any point want to stop and talk about any of the specific numbers, feel free to do that. I don't want to waste a lot of time on things you all are not interested in. And certainly after the meeting, if you take it home and digest it and have more questions, feel free to call back and ask. We'll be happy to explain that to you. If you look at the very top, go to the far right corner, you'll see FY 13-14. Your total payroll expenditures were $448,508. That was a very, very nominal increase over the previous year, and statistically flat if you look at over the past 4 years. It's statistically flat, and although you do not currently have an executive director salary hitting your account, you did through August here. So if you'll drop down then, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You see your travel was $10,089 for a board this large. That's a monumental feat to spend that little money on travel, and we applaud you for that. If you drop all the way down to grand total of expenditures, you'll see that your expenditures for this year were $556,625, which was again a slight increase over the previous year, but statistically flat as far as we're concerned. Your staff has done a great job in holding the line on your expenses. Before I move on there, is there any individual line items that anybody has any questions about?
Comment on the travel expense, Commissioner. While it's a very efficient number, I question as to whether all the expenses are included, because some of the commissioners have not been reimbursed for their travel expenses.
Well, if any commissioner has not been reimbursed for their travel expense, I would ask them to get with me or get with my office, and we'll make sure that they are. Typically, sure, absolutely. Then I'm going to drop down. If you look at your total expenditures of $1,484,495, again, a slight increase over the previous year. I will point out that your legal expenses, while on paper were up about $50,000, put that into context, the previous year we were very, very lean in the legal department, and that was the first year that we began pulling that number out for you to see. So the 174,567 is much closer to where you should be on an ongoing basis as far as your legal expenses through the department. Licensing revenue was down. Certainly, I think something that for further study, why is $1,704,278. The previous comparable year of 11-12, it was $1,908,330. That's a pretty significant decrease, and I would leave that to you all who probably study the profession in much more finite detail, but I'd be very curious to know what you all attribute that. Fiscal year or your net revenue was $1,766,951. Again, going to the comparable year of 11-12, it was $1,811,785,000, which is a little bit of a decrease, leaving your fiscal year balance, which is the net reserve that you all have for the year, of $282,456. Your prior fiscal year reserve was $1,458,309, and that left your reserve balance at $1,740,765. Now, you'll notice core expense, second to the last line item, that is the new licensing system that we will be implementing this year, and that is your share of that cost. So your actual current reserve balance after the core expense is $1,621,447.
Core expense, a one-time charge.
It is spread out over 3 years. It'll be spread out over the 3 years. So that's your first year of expense there. So you'll have that expense going. I also want to point out on your core expense really quick that money's coming out of your reserve. So it's coming out of money that you've already put in the bank. It's not coming out of your
Number of formal hearings scheduled for the 2015, so we
be able to pay for.
Commissioner Giannini, we didn't get the gentleman right here that,
I apologize. I did not know that he pulled up a seat. This is our accounting manager, Bill Huddleston. He has been here about 3 months. Is that right? I would be remiss if I also didn't introduce Kimberly Whaley Morgan, who's in the back, who was our previous accounting manager and is now as director of licensing, and she is overseeing the core implementation for us, and but is also a wealth out of your financials. So I bring her here for a safety net.
how does our revenue and surplus compared to other boards, Commissioner?
Significantly higher. Significantly. Your fee increase, I think, that took place several years ago has worked well. You guys have recovered from the sweep that took place. I do think, and this is always a sore subject, but it's certainly a time to start considering where do you go from here. Do you want to continue to amass, a reserve, and I think it's a great. That's one of the reasons for these presentations that we do, is to come before you and say, here's where you're at, here are the trends, and for you guys to look at and decide as a board, are your fees charging the people who are consuming the resources of your program properly, or are your or vice versa. I think that's the time now going forward for you all to have those kinds of discussions amongst yourself and look at your fees.
We've had a surge in license applications in the last year coming out of the Great Recession. Lost a lot of licenses and a lot of come back in. So that
Staff's doing a great job of maintaining, and as you and Staff's doing a really good job of taking care of the day-to-day business licenses out efficiently. Communications and shipping, I'm sorry. That's pretty much every year. What is that? I'm gonna defer to my, well, I know it'd be mail, but what beyond that? Beyond mail, anything else?
It's gonna be mostly shipping.
I ship out a lot of fairly large packages, believe it or not. There's a lot of shipping expenses that go.
you might not want it.
You
Commissioner
charge you for
McNabb.
emails now?
You might be like that fellow that said he never opens his registered mail because it's not ever good news.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson.
I was looking at your regular salary and wages.
Yes, sir.
It was a slightly up in 14.
Yes, sir.
What is the procedure that you go about for salary increases for the employees that's considered in this?
Well, all except for the director, the salaries are set by the governor, by the administration. I mean, we have or by HR, and certainly raises are passed along through the governor. Yeah, you guys set the salary for the director within a range, but beyond that, those are done administratively. The position has a classification and a range.
Slightly increase in salary compared to 12.
Yeah, I mean, again, we consider that statistically flat, and frankly, if you probably looked at the cost of living over the past 5 years, that might even be a slight decline. But as we get more electronically savvy, and as Commissioner McNabb inquired about the shipping, as we begin to do more things electronically through attrition, your staff has stayed flat in head count, and so we believe as we become more efficient and or certainly, while we don't think that will replace people, it will make us more efficient and for staff expansion in the future.
My concern was so make sure I understand it. In salaries for your staff people, not speaking about the director, but your staff. That's that falls under the jurisdiction of the governor.
Yes, sir. Well, again, they frequently do salary studies and look at all positions in state government. I want to separate the two. These salaries that we currently have are based out of a recent salary study. I believe every position in state government was evaluated and looked at, and one of the governor's big initiatives when he came in was to try to get more competitive with the private sector, realizing that we weren't being able to retain the best people because we weren't competitive on salaries. And we did get a pretty large salary increase 2 years ago. Unfortunately, due to budget constraints this previous year, there was not any raise given. But I do know that certainly the governor's hope always to be able to pass along a raise to state employees, but certainly not in the sacrifice of financial stability. So.
Do they look at other states in the surrounding area, that connected with the state of Tennessee? Do they look at that or the study? What kind of study do they use to determine the salary increases for the staff?
I wouldn't want to speak to that. That's something done through our big HR, and so I wouldn't want to go into any detail because I might mislead you. But I feel fairly confident that it takes in a combination of looking at other states, looking at the region, looking at the specific task that person is performing. Sure. Well, that is a new licensing system. We currently use a system we call RBS, which we bought in 1993 under Ned McWhirter. And I always use the analogy, if you guys still had to use the cell phone that you had in 1993, you'd spend a lot of your day mad. And so we're using the same licensing system that we've had since 1993. We were able to, the new system that we're getting is actually an 8th generation newer of the system that we have today. It's a significant upgrade, but it was a significantly less expensive option than going out and buying a entirely new system. This system will integrate fairly well with the system we have, and the lingo will stay the same. So it's a much easier transition for our staff than going out and buying something completely new. This is not just for our board. No, sir. That's your share. This is your share.
How's that prorated then? Is it?
It's prorated by the number of licensees. Yeah. Yep. And it is an even share, based on your consumption, kind of, which is licensees, the size of your board. Certainly, programs that have 85 licensees aren't going to share as large an expense. It's a total of about $2.5 million that we're spending on the licensing system, which many of you have probably faced in your business at some point, and you can recognize for something the size and scope of what we do here, that's a relatively small cost to get a substantially improved operating system.
That's depreciated over 3 years?
Spread out over 3 years, and taken out of your reserve, so it's money that's not going to affect your operations, and that we frankly otherwise wouldn't have been able to reach. So
Related to the salaries, in that line item, are the field investigators included in that line item?
the field investigators are actually included in your cost backs, because we use a pool, as you guys know, the pooled investigators, so those show up there. We use a group that we spread across. As I told you guys last year, I was committed to improving the level of service that you all were getting out of that group, or we were going to give them back to you. And I think by all reports, things are much better than they were a year ago. We've made a great commitment to making sure that we're getting your inspection timely, fairly, annually. And I think that's the case. I certainly have heard nothing but positive reports from the field. Overtime?
Oh, I do apologize. Okay.
I hadn't
Almost
followed
asked the
policy if
same
we had
question.
overtime on here.
I'm a big believer not doing overtime.
Yeah, us too. I was going to have some splaining to do if there was overtime on here when I leave this meeting. So, no, we also do. We're very, very cautious about allowing overtime. So,
Commissioner Murray.
On the case and complaint revenue,
sir.
and then you have less.
Yes, sir. State regulatory fee is a fee based on a number of licenses. It's a $5 fee in lieu of charging you cost of processing that license, and all of our programs pay that. It's been $5 for a long time, and my advice is always to not talk about it, because things we were paying $5 for in 1989 are not $5 anymore, so we're probably getting a fair deal on it. But it is a across the board. You asked about the case and complaint revenue, which was a substantial decrease. There were a couple of very large civil penalties the previous year. One, I think, was $100,000. So that's the reason for the large decrease this past year.
Budget report?
You don't really need to, Chairman. It's inked already. It's already gone and closed. This is basically just an opportunity for you all to see and to ask questions about what we're doing with your money, and to let us know of any concerns that you have.
More questions? Thank you for your work and appearance. Everyone, Mr. Austin. Mr. Welcome. We're ready for Ronald D. Yellen. Cooper.
Yes, sir. Mr. Yellen was convicted in 2012 of 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor and is on supervised release until November 2016.
Eligible November 2016.
Plus 5. So
Plus 5. Okay.
Probation.
describe the nature of your felony and,
Sure. I'm back in 2011.
which, let me see, which dealership is, oh, Ted Russell Kia.
Yes, they're located in Knoxville, Tennessee, so it's a little bit of a drive out here.
Questions for Mr. Yellen?
Commissioner Jackson, can you just, you say you were in 11, you were downloading teenage couples?
Well, no.
Doing this at, I missed this, but was this at home, at work, or?
No,
what-
this was at home.
you know?
And whatnot, just huge lists, and you just start clicking, and it takes a while.
Her first felony conviction
Yes, I've never been in trouble with the law before.
after?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. And I've been,
Why do you want to be in this industry?
when I worked for Ruby
How did you get caught?
there's, I guess, like
Federal?
the heat task force that I was returning.
Okay.
How long have you been with Ted Russell?
They hired me in
Why that none of them are here to represent you is because of,
It's all the way from.
I noticed on your reference letter that he did not sign.
The letter that was sent, and he.
Questions?
Legal department.
Yes, sir.
Is what he's saying, is that what he got charged with? I mean,
Yes, sir. The actual charge of the exploitation, it doesn't require any actual physical contact. And since he said there was a couple, that would account for 2 counts, one for the minor female and one for the minor. I would also, since you've asked about his conviction, I would, on his behalf, I guess, state, as of March of 2013, there was actually an amended judgment filed that showed that would only happen if he had been in compliance so far as to the requirements that he had. Being on the sex offender registry and being under that kind of supervision is actually much speaks to his favor that those restrictions were removed.
Further questions, is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we grant the license.
Bonnie Fox. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, Mr. Whitson, call for a roll call vote.
This is to grant a license. Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. McNabb,
No.
Yes.
Mr. Clayton? Yes. Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Webb? No.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes.
You have,
License.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with your career.
Really appreciate it.
Bobby A. Burns. Welcome, Mr. Burns.
This is Bobby.
All right. Ms. Cooper?
Yes, sir. Mr. Burns was convicted in federal court of conspiracy to distribute marijuana. He was sentenced to serve 130. After release in 2013, it looks like, he is on supervised release. So
Burns, can you describe to the commission led to this conviction?
I was with my brother when we done a drug deal.
I didn't see the application. Does it reflect that there was a conviction for felony on the out?
It does on that. He's under minimum supervision, so from me. I've got to know Bobby personally. He's actually cars. Well, he's took 161 tests, and the whole
Questions for Mr. Burns?
How much time did you actually spend in jail?
9.5 years.
Texas?
I caught my case in Texas, I think.
How have you been out?
2.5 years.
Okay.
Had any troubles since you've been out?
No. None.
Work prior to this dealership?
I paint.
Motion to be made. Clayton, motion to grant a license, and Commissioner Webb seconded. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none.
Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. McNabb.
Yes.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Clayton.
Yes.
Mr. Norton.
Yes.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Trickett.
Yes.
And Ms. Ball.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Gentleman with the infant, are you appealing, sir? Would you like to come now, or what would be the best time for you? Would you rather wait until your infant awakes, or would you like to come now? Well, I'm going to make an exception for you, sir, and you pick the time.
This is Mr. Blackman.
Mr. Blackman, your appeal is different from the other since it's a dealer application, so I'm sorry to disrupt your child, but we'll move on quick as we can. Beautiful child, by the way. All right, we'll get to you in a few minutes, sir. Self-caught back up. Are we, Mr. Rashid D. Bailey? Am I getting this in the right order?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Bailey, welcome, sir. We're going to hear from legal as to why this was in.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bailey was denied due to felony convictions. He has intent to sell cocaine conviction from January 2003. He received a vehicular homicide conviction and a 4-year sentence. He was discharged from parole in April 2014, so while he is not currently under supervision, the plus 5 years would put him into April 2019.
Which dealership are you, Old Ben Franklin Motors? Yes. Okay, sir. Mr. Bailey, tough life. Tell us why that you want to. on there, or were you let go?
It was, I put in my 2 weeks notice. It was just, it was.
Currently have a driver's license?
Yes, sir.
Tennessee driver's license?
Yes, sir.
Is it restricted? How much cocaine were you, that might be on this report, but how much cocaine were you attempting to sell? Or-
No, several grams probably.
All right.
About that big.
Who are you going to sell this to, distribute this
I
to?
was going really just to drop it off to.
Money in this for you?
Yeah, it was money if I would have made the drop off.
Yeah. What about your life made you need more cash so desperately? Were there any other bad habits that you had?
I have 2 kids.
Old Ben Franklin is in Knoxville. Any other questions for Mr. Bailey?
Possession of a weapon also on here, is that correct?
Yes, it was this.
Of a suspended driver's license at the time?
Yes, in 2003. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to hear from, would you be his supervisor?
Yes, sir. Lincoln, I'm one of the sales managers. I'm one of the sales managers, direct supervisor.
Your name again, sir, was?
Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln.
Mike Farr, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Bailey's been with us.
This would be this is a used vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Is it a, do you do in-house financing?
We have a full gamut, the full spectrum. We were part of.
Salespeople handle cash?
No, sir. Nor, they did not handle cash, nor.
Gotten into any other trouble since these convictions?
No, not since 2012.
Off parole now? Okay.
Actually eligible then, Ms. Cooper, in 2019? Yes, sir. I mean, routinely eligible in 20, yes. Questions?
Commissioner Jackson, if no more question, I motion that we grant him the license.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Jackson to grant and seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, Mr. Whitson, would call for a roll call vote.
Grant a license. Ms. Bone?
Yes.
Mr. Cricket?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes.
Mr. McNabb,
Yes.
and Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Mr. Bailey, good luck in the automotive career. You'll be granted a license.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Corey Millsaps. Must need some salesmen, sir.
We had some good ones. We were going to keep them.
All right. Millsaps, welcome to the commission. Ms. Cooper, could we hear about the denial?
Yes, sir. Mr. Millsap's prior felony convictions. He has a conviction for sale of cocaine in October. That ran concurrent to the 8, so a total of 8 years. His sentence or supervision ends in September.
Millsaps, tell us why you did this thing.
That I did,
On the payroll, off the payroll? What? You're off payroll. All right.
Got 2 applications for you. One, the felony conviction is blank, and then the second one is a no. So if you look at the sales application and it asks you a question, have you ever been convicted of a felony? On here is marked no.
I don't think it
That's
asked you
worse.
what your record was. I think it just asked you a simple question. Had you
Have you ever?
been convicted ever? Yeah. Schaefer's point, yeah. Any further questions?
I'd like to hear from the supervisor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mills. And we've let go of many people since his employment, but he's been very good. We've
Currently not employed.
not even at the dealership, no, sir. He's at home till this hearing.
Commissioner McNabb.
What about filling out the form here?
Commissioner McNabb, could you pull the mic down or pull your head up, or
They wanted to hear me earlier.
we need to hear from you.
The Lincoln, did you help with the application here? One is, like Farrah said, was no, and one was blank
No,
on the application, so.
No, sir. They fill their applications out.
Mr. Millsaps didn't fill out this app, someone at HR did.
No, he did. He fills them out themselves. But they just don't do it in the sales department.
When you get an 8-year sentence and a 3-year sentence, it pretty much the same time. Do those run concurrently?
Yes.
And how much time did you do?
I did no time, jail time.
You didn't do any.
Question. Someone from the dealership had to sign the salesman's license application. Were you up front? Did they know that you had these convictions at the time when this application was signed?
No, I actually thought that they were not shown on my record.
Mr. Lincoln,
That they had that conviction, we would not have processed the application that was falsified.
Mr. Clayton? I'm sorry?
Why are there two apps?
Need for you to lean forward, sir, to the mic.
Why are there two apps here? One says no, one's blank.
I can direct that question to the staff. It's my understanding that if an application comes in and they say no or it's blank, it is then run through the Tennessee on anything, and then they are told to resubmit an application with the judgments attached. Essentially, resubmit a completed application this time with all of your information. Is that correct, Mr. Woodson?
Exactly right.
Yes, still wasn't written on the second application.
So, tell me why you want to sell cars.
I enjoy being around us.
Question. Have you sold cars for somebody else before? Maybe I missed that.
This is the first time.
Okay. How long did you sell
Chairman.
cars?
2 months.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Clayton has the
I
floor.
move that we delay this until they get proper applications in that are straight up. These are, obviously, all applications here are false. So I vote that or move that we delay.
A motion to delay the app and allow for resubmission? Is that
Let them submit the facts as they are.
I'd just like to amend that rather than delay, we just need to deny it, the application, if you would accept it.
Well, that wouldn't be an amendment. That would be, if it's denied, the applicant can reapply anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So there are,
I'll accept his amendment.
I understand both motions, but I'm not sure one's an amendment. Would we want to withdraw the motion and then let Commissioner Jackson?
All right,
make a
I'll
motion?
withdraw the motion then. Okay.
Commissioner Jackson wants to make a
Mr.
motion.
Jackson motion that we deny the application.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. We have a motion by Commissioner Jackson to uphold the routine denial by staff, and Commissioner Schaefer seconds. Any discussion? So a vote for yes for this motion would uphold the denial.
Yes.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Roberts. Mr. McNabb.
Yes.
Mr. Gavin.
Yes.
Mr. Clayton.
Yes.
Mr. Norton.
Yes.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Trickett.
Yes.
Ms. Ball.
Mr. Millsaps, you've, this denial has been denied. You can reapply, sir. Thank you.
30 days.
Yes.
Is that correct, sir? And then you
Yes,
may-
sir.
next quarter?
You can reapply
Because
Sir, I can't do more explanation than everything's on the record, and we deliberated in front of you, and that's all the and reapply in 30 days. We meet quarterly. Thank you. Caleb L. Nelson. Caleb L. Nelson. Mr. Nelson is not appearing, so we need to.
I'll make a motion that we uphold the decision.
Commissioner McNabb, motion to uphold the denial. Who was second? Second by Commissioner Galvin. Any discussion? A vote for yes will uphold the denial. Mr. Whitson?
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. McNabb?
Yes.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Mr. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Webb? Yes. Mr. Trickett?
Yes.
Ms. Miles?
Yes.
Denial is upheld. Scott A. Harrison. Morrissey, Mr. Harrison, welcome to the Motor Vehicle Commission. Ms. Cook.
Roberts, I believe Mr. Harrison was on before the commission for a denial. Mr. Harrison applied for a license and it was denied based on a prior felony conviction. When he appeared for his denial the last time, he did not have all of the information that I needed in order to be able to inform the commission as to the status of his supervision, whether or not he was still on supervision, those things. Mr. Harrison left the meeting that day and went and got all of the paperwork that I requested so that I could review his application. He does have a prior felony conviction, however. He initially was put on what's called a diversion program, that if he complied, he would not have a conviction. He failed to do that. It was transferred over to a conviction, and in April of 2013. His sentence ended in September of 2013. He is not currently on any supervision, and under the 5-year rule, he would be able to apply without restriction in September of 2018. His prior conviction, I should tell you, was acquiring a controlled substance by fraud.
Was this for your own use, this controlled substance, or were you reselling?
No, it was not selling. It was actually my sister. I was actually prescribed currently.
Immediate question I have is why not, I'm not familiar with diversion, but why didn't you go for this diversion?
I did, I completed the PTI and,
How much money is involved there?
I owed $700.
I understand not having the money, but it does seem terribly irresponsible to not find some way, go to court, make payments. I don't know if the court or, it sounds terribly irresponsible to me.
Well, I mean, I was paying all my court costs and it was two different things.
Have an attorney?
What's that now?
You didn't have an attorney? Public defender. Okay, any questions for Mr. Harrison?
I got a question. You lost diversion over $700?
My question,
You been in any other trouble since then, or, okay?
Would you be his supervisor, sir?
Yes, sir.
Well, and what's your position at the Kawasaki dealership, Yamaha Kawasaki? All right. What is your knowledge of Mr. Harrison?
He has been employed for
Questions, Mr. Jest? Did I say that?
Like to ask legal again if what he says is that the way you what happened?
Yes, sir. I was just reviewing the probation. They call it a probation violation report, even though technically he wasn't on probation. He was on. Like there was a almost $700 supervision fee, $100 court costs or a prosecution fee. It looks like at one point he had about $1,000 in court costs he had to pay. He indicates that he was still about $700.
Questions?
Yes.
Commissioner McNabb.
Were you working at that time to, did you have a job?
I didn't at that time because when all this happened,
Places did you try?
probably about 150.
Really?
Yeah.
Still liable for that debt?
It's already paid, all that stuff.
Oh, you've paid it done. Okay.
I make a motion to grant his license.
Second.
Commissioner McNabb makes a motion to grant the license. Commissioner Trickett seconded. Question of the motion. Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Whitson.
This is to grant a license. Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. McNabb.
Yes.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Murray. Yes. Mr. Gammon.
Yes.
Mr. Norton.
Yes.
Mr. Clayton. Yes. And Mr.
Yes.
You'll be granted the license. Good luck in your career, sir. Thank you. Donta D. Granger. And Donta D. Granger. So, is there a motion?
Commissioner Jackson, motion that we deny the application.
Jackson, seconded by Commissioner McNabb. No discussion, none heard. Commissioner, Mr. Whitson.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
McNabb.
Yes.
Mr. Parr. Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Norton.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Gammon.
Yes.
Mr. Clayton.
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
I upheld Jeffrey Smithson. Ms. Cooper.
Yes, sir. Mr. Smithson was convicted of felony vandalism in July 2011. The copy of the judgment that was provided indicates that it was a D felony, so the range of sentence would be anywhere from 2 to 4 years. But it looks like he was set to have a sentencing hearing, and so the final judgment, which would have been a result of that sentencing hearing, was not provided, so I cannot tell you the length of his sentence or if he's currently on.
Any questions for Ms. Cooper on that before we proceed? Mr. Smithson, who did you vandalize and why? Who's your victim? Daughter's mother's.
Yes, my ex.
Your ex's boyfriend.
Yes.
Was it your ex or was it the boyfriend?
She was ex.
Who did you vandalize? His. Why? His car?
Yes, we had an altercation and passing.
Which was the
Ended up being $9,000.
dollars worth on the car
Yes, this has been.
with your foot? Where did you kick it?
The front bumper.
Bumper is meant to absorb at least 5 miles an hour of shock. Can you kick faster than that?
No.
You kicked the bumper now.
I kicked the bumper, yes, sir.
What we used to call in the business before and after.
Have you been in any other trouble other than this?
You're applying for, would you be a supervisor, sir?
I'm the dealer. My name's Bill Roberts. I'm under. Spends a tremendous amount of time with his 8-year-old daughter, and is a hard worker. This whole thing got really blown out of proportion back then, and I really think there we are.
So you have a boat dealership and an automobile
Clarksville, yes,
dealership?
sir. And I have an automobile store in Mount Juliet.
Okay, he's working on the boat side.
Right now, we want to transition.
All right. Further questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we grant the license.
Second.
Mr. Schaefer makes a motion to grant the license, and I heard Commissioner Cricket seconds. Any discussion? I'll call for a roll call vote. Mr. Whitson?
Be giving the gentleman a license, Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. McNabb,
Yes.
Mr. Fox,
Yes.
Mr. Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn,
Yes.
Mr. Trickett,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Gavin,
Yes.
Mr. Norton,
Yes.
and Mr. Clayton.
Yes.
Listen, you'll be granted a license. Don't be kicking any consumers out there. Dealer appeal, Heaven
I have
Sent
an
Cars. Yes, why don't we take a 10-minute break, if that works okay for you, sir, and we'll, let's take a 10-minute break. All right, we are Heaven Sent Cars. All right, sir, would you like to use a chair? You want to stand? Okay. Well, welcome, sir, to the commission. Ms. Cooper, we talk about this denial?
Yes, sir, I will. First of all, I need to point out on the agenda, it says Heaven Sent Cars was the name of the dealer application. It's actually World of Heaven Sent. And on that note, Mr. Carl Shun Blackman, he goes by Shun, I believe. Mr. Blackman applied for a dealership license for the World of Heaven Sent back in September of 2014. Upon investigation or review of the application by, and I need to introduce at this point, Ms. Brenda Suddeth. She is on staff, and she is responsible for all of the dealer applications. In reviewing that dealer application, it came to her attention, and then she brought it to my attention, that Mr. Blackman had, he has a long history of being in the automobile business, and so there are several applications on file with the Motor Vehicle Commission for Mr. Blackman as a salesman, and this is the first dealer application, I believe, under his name alone. He's also been salesman applications under a business owned by his father that was Heaven Sent Cars, so that's why it's important to note the difference in the name. In reviewing those applications, it came to our attention that Mr. Blackman did have prior felony convictions. He has answered no to that question on every application he's ever filled out. Mr. Blackman has also applied for licenses under using 2 different Social Security numbers. Was concerns, the application was denied. I've provided for you, working with Ms. Suddeth, a timeline of when the applications were filed, what he answered to the felony conviction question, and which Social Security number.
Has he been licensed as a salesperson?
Yes.
He has?
Yes, sir.
Is he licensed currently as a salesperson?
Is he licensed currently?
Currently
Yes.
licensed as a salesperson?
As a salesperson.
Okay.
Application was never approved.
Is that right, Mr. Blackman? Well, let me get to this question, and
That
we'll.
one was approved, and it was approved for a month, and then it was the.
That's a dealer license. I'm talking about you individually as a salesperson. You've got your salesperson's license with you? Could we see that salesperson's license? I hate to put you in that trouble, but I want to ask the question. I want to get it straight. Someone, Ms. Suddeth, would you? Yeah. Let's pass that around if we would, and then to your statement, Mr. Whitson, about issued by mistake, more explanation of that. Was it just, was it a mistake because there was no dealer?
Because it didn't exist, it was issued under. I don't remember which way it is, Mr. Sutter might be happy, but it was issued in the corporation's name. I was just trying to tell you that.
Only mistake was the type of entity, a corporation versus an LLC. Is that the only mistake, or was this a non-existent dealership?
The chronological history is that they originally wanted to do a name change for an existing dealer, Ideal Image. So we instructed them to go change the name with the Secretary of State to make it Heaven Sent Cars. Instead of doing that, they go to the Secretary of State and open a whole new charter as an LLC. Then that application expired. So Mr. Blackman's father applied, and that application expired. And this was at this time for Blackman Luxury Cars. So there was never a Blackman Luxury Cars. The computer issued error due to a glitch in a program that had never come up before. So the Blackman Luxury was never a dealership. Then Mr. Blackman decided that he was going to submit another application. That one expired. He had submitted another application for the World of Heaven Sent LLC with the charter that he opened last at the Secretary of State. That's when he submitted his financial background disclosure that had had a social security number that was questionable. And on all of his applications, he said no, he had never been convicted of a felony.
Any of those facts, sir?
Yes, well, what happened was,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm not asking for an explanation of the charges. Ms. Suttoff gave some number of facts. Is there anything in there particular that didn't take place that in regard to the application?
yes, sir, I kind of want, yes.
Is that, are you going to? Okay. If this will get there, let's get us there. I'm talking about the application process.
Well, the application process, my dad had and he was changing the name to Blackman Luxury Cars. And at first he had got the license, then he didn't.
Where's this location?
On Ellis Crescent in Memphis.
It's on Ellis.
If I could interrupt, Mr. Blackman did not get his convictions expunged, but he did get his rights restored.
Yeah, I got right to vote, right to carry a weapon, right to vote.
Expungement means that they have been erased from your record. That is not the case with Mr. Blackman. I think he's confused between the restoration of rights and the expungement.
What is your employment history? Have you selling cars? And location where you are, is this a place that you'll be renting, you would be renting from someone?
No, emotionally because I can tell you when she was sick, when her mother passed, when
Explain the discrepancy in the, if I'm saying this right, the discrepancy in the social security numbers on these.
oh yeah, on that part, all I did was my father.
Dealer or sales license?
Oh.
Okay. So you had a dealer license at one time
Yes, sir. I'm telling them
for this location?
yes, sir. Same location. I ain't been nowhere.
Do you know what a surety bond is?
Yes, sir. Got surely bond as well. I had
I have a question. Are you saying that you gave your father your information, but you didn't sign the license?
yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I signed the paperwork. I gave him $35.
What is your social security number?
408-399632.
Okay. What was the felony conviction in Tennessee? Texas was,
Yeah, I got bound over Tennessee because they said they had to do.
so you're saying there's one felony conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
And the rest is a probation violation?
Right. They bound me over because so I wouldn't have to keep going to Texas. Bound it over to Tennessee.
Why did you say that you have no felony conviction?
I didn't because I had a bail jumping charge.
Okay.
I didn't even know it.
Conviction in Tennessee, Commissioner, is for a felony drug offense.
Tell us about that.
Yes, ma'am. All it was again, marijuana.
How much would a surety bond cost for you, sir?
I think it was like $400.
Okay. The application process that you've gone through, even if there are somewhat innocent mistakes, if they were innocent, if you're going to run a business, you still have a responsibility to get, if you're doing a credit app, you've got to get these social security numbers straight. You can't say, well, somebody else did it. You know, you're,
See, really, I just knew I was already on.
what size operation would you contemplate? Are you going to have are you going to have an office manager or somebody to help you keep this stuff? That's going to do your own office managing? Your office. Or a bank for those cars?
What was the issue with your father filling out paperwork that you were saying earlier?
Because he was one of. I just told him, well, why don't you name it after, our last name?
I was just trying to understand where the issue with the incorrect social security numbers come into play. Like, how did that happen?
I'm not sure, like I said, I just gave him my social. Closed down, went with him, but when I got with him under. But this was too different. It's been closed for over a year now, so I just wanted to give it a new name, you know? I didn't know it was gonna be.
Can I ask our attorney a question? He said he'd been a dealer named Heaven Sent since 2001. Did he have his license back then with answer no as a that he's never had a conviction?
Meredith may be able to answer that. I just confirmed that for myself when I heard him say that. The first indication that we have an application for him for anything to do with Heaven Sent is 2005.
License for Heaven Sent Motors in 2005?
In 2005, yes. I'm not sure what
Oh, it's
he's,
a felony charges.
every application he's ever filed, he has
Wonder
said
how he
no.
got his.
We didn't, at that time, there wasn't a state felony register check. That's something.
Name that supplied the incorrect social security number. We Blackman himself, I think there are four other Carl Blackmans on the registry with different dates of birth and social security numbers.
Simon, why didn't you liquidate some of these cars? I can appreciate that, but there are ways to liquidate cars without having a dealer license.
I have a serious issue with the incorrect social security numbers and the
See what I'm saying? Okay, once I, got my, rights. I figured everything was okay then.
Again, there's a difference between rights being restored and expungement. Expungement means that the convictions are taken off of your record. Mr. Blackman still has those convictions. He did get his rights restored, I think, in 2009.
No, ma'am.
Or 2000.
Without any predetermination attempted on this appeal. What happens when a dealership loses license and it has inventory? How does liquidation occur? How can someone liquidate how can a dealer liquidate an inventory?
The most obvious way would be through an auction. Yes, sir.
How many felonies was he guilty of? Was there one in Texas and one in Tennessee, or just
Correct.
one in Texas that transferred to Tennessee?
There is one in Tennessee, there is one in Texas. When he moved back to Tennessee, from what I can tell of the paperwork provided, and it's not everything I would need, but from what I can tell, his probation was transferred to Tennessee to run along with the probation for the drug offense in Tennessee.
Related to the same one-time offense?
Well,
Or were there, I guess my question, have there been two offenses committed, both of them felonies?
Commissioner Murray, my concern is that he was convicted of bail jumping in Texas, and yet I have no information regarding what he was on bail for. I could not get a bail jumping conviction if you're on bond for something else. Was it a felony? Was it a misdemeanor? I don't know. But neither of those felony convictions, the bail jumping that he was ultimately convicted of, nor the Tennessee drug offense, were ever reported to the commission. I stand corrected, Mr. Blackman. When they occurred, he did not report them. It wasn't until this last application that we finally became aware of the issue regarding the Social Security number was indeed on the felony offender website.
As we discuss these technical matters in the application, I'd like to remind my fellow commissioners, we are here to determine if applicant would be a good risk for consumers to make a purchase from. You know, it all gets back down to, it should get there. While we have technical reasons, we've had a lot of technical reasons here, technical explanations here, because this application has just been in different names and different. I'd like to focus us back on, is this potential licensee a good risk for the public? Handling cash, handling titles. I think that is our job. Well, I appreciate the technical questions. Mr. Clayton.
I got one. I don't understand how long he's actually been a dealer, that he has. Got a dealer's license in '96, and you never lost that. you put no.
No, I sent the papers in. I sent the copies of my.
You're understanding that that wiped it clean. It did not. See.
Because if you want to read the, I can go get.
You're understanding that took that off of your records, and therefore you could say that you never had a felony.
Right.
The truth of the matter is, those paperwork didn't wipe it out to the point that you can say that. You can't say that because that's not true.
But that's why I just attached.
You were asked a question, though, yes or no, had you ever been convicted of a felony? And you said no, but that was incorrect. You had.
Well, I said no, and I attached the papers to it to show. Whatever I did, I put the papers with it so they could see everything. It's not like I was trying to hide.
But it's not
anything.
their job to see everything. It's their job to interpret what you said, yes or no. Has there been any issues with his dealings in the automobile?
Mr. Blackman's dealership, Heaven Sent Cars, did have a penalty of $1,700. Tim, I believe it was in 2012. Penalty initially was not paid, and so he was not able to apply for another dealer license until that. I got notice of that finally being paid in August of 2014.
What was the fine
What was
for,
that for?
Ms. Cooper?
It's on the paperwork. I'm just the one that had to pay for it to clear it up.
We-
He was a salesman.
Okay.
And
Then it'd be under your license.
Yes, ma'am. But after I had closed and everything. I ended up getting an attorney, sending the title out, and then I was gonna have to pay the 17.
Blackman's dealership, Heaven Sent, was held responsible for providing conflicting, confusing, and incomplete contractual sales documents to a customer, which would be under 5517-114. Also an open title violation, and there was failing to properly maintain a temporary tag log.
Or you are directly, as a dealer, you are directly responsible for that tip tag log and that open title.
That's why I went ahead and paid the 17.
Right.
So when he told me I was.
Understand the salesperson, but now that open title and temp tag logs are the dealer's responsibility, or the licensees for the dealership.
The temp tag thing happened open back in 2000, maybe 2.
This was a 2012 case, I believe. I don't know what the log would have been that severe. That'd be a 10-year backlog. Written up in the record there, sir. Temp tags and open titles, very serious matter.
What you're saying about the open title, that was the same title that.
In 2013 that the discipline was for. Mr. Blackman signed the consent order in April of 2014.
Questions or a motion?
I have one last question here. On the application that's dated September 26th, I think you responded to Commissioner Vaughn's inquiry of the Social Security number, and I think you said the reason it's right is you put that Social Security number on there. Is that correct?
My application.
I was responding to your, she asked about the social security number. You said you wrote the social security number on there. That's what you said. You said you wrote it on the application. That's why it was right. Okay.
I'd like to see him get back in business, but how can we know that he's going to other than what our inspections are? The truth of the matter is that's the eye on. And I think he's trying to come forward and tell us that he's okay, that he's going to straighten it up and do right. So I'd like to recommend that we give him a license, provided that he will send in the proper paperwork, the documentation, the surety bonds, and all of the things qualified to make him legal day one. It's got to be on the table before he starts.
I want to question the motion, I guess. I'll open this up for discussion. I get back to technical part. Are all the requirements for granting a license now in with the commission?
Had his inspection done, and that was because once these other issues became a concern for the application for review and denied for review by the commission.
We'll have to fill out a new application because it's false, right? We've determined that it's false, so he's got to file an additional application that is correct. That's fair.
Problem with voting to grant the license if the paperwork isn't correct.
He's got to submit a correct application in its entirety, and the state then will approve it.
And done, then they can approve it without us even doing anything.
Can't approve it without us with a no on his felony charge, right?
That felony conviction's old.
I might have started this, but let me move us back toward the motion itself, and right now we have a motion. We have plenty of time for discussion.
If the staff is saying that he does not have the correct paperwork in as we speak, it's no way we can grant a dealership license. What we would have to do is deny his request and support the staff recommendation, and that's the end of this. And he knows at this point he's heard what he needs to do, so all he needs to do is go back to Memphis as quick as he can and get that information back here. And if everything is okay, it doesn't have to come before us. It'll be approved through the staff. Because right now, the staff is telling us the proper information is not in for us to approve. Even if we wanted to approve it, we can't approve it. Am I correct, staff?
As just a point of clarification, if it's denied, the gentleman has the right to reapply. And that's routine.
We definitely can't approve it when the staff have said to us they don't have the proper information.
Is the staff left? See, they have the felony conviction that is there.
If he reapplied.
Oh, he's already denied.
Yeah.
We're just going to either grant an appeal to override the denial. Everything's routine at this point.
But even if we uphold the denial, he resubmits, they have to deny it again because of the felony.
Well,
time frame, that felony was, I think was some one of them at least was old. I mean, I think if we wanted to go ahead and deny it, maybe we could waive the 30-day waiting period for him to go ahead and get tomorrow if he could. That might be helpful if that's a concern. Because I mean, it's not that we're here to put somebody out of business or prevent somebody from earning a living, but we do have the right. We have the duty to protect the citizens of the state.
Well, I go back though to get this in its take the big end of the funnel and try to make it come out smaller end. If we deny, he can reapply anytime he likes, and he'll be back here. Don't know what the agenda will be, but that would probably be the next regular meeting is it July maybe?
Next regular meeting is in April. We also have a hearing set for March that we could carve a little time out beforehand for. Blackman to be sure to also get certified copies of your attached to, as well as the paperwork you've already submitted.
Yeah. It's certified.
Talk afterwards, sir, and I can explain specifically what you need.
Don't want to lead us down the path of guaranteeing if it's reapplied that it will be approved. I'm not going to take us there. It'd be, you know, Well, let me go back to clarification again. The simplest form of this is a denial or uphold the staff's routine denial. As the gentleman has the right to come back and appeal that or reapply, then he might or might not be turned down or approved routinely. Then he has the right to appeal that. I don't know how many times, I don't know if there's a limit on the times you can appeal, but each time you have to reapply, then you get an appeal. Whether you think he should have a license now or ever doesn't really matter if we just deny and let him decide his fate, let the gentleman decide his fate if he wants to reapply or not. I promise you, sir, which way it would go. So, with that said, do we want to leave the motion the same, Commissioner Clayton, or do we just want to, dies of a second, we can have another motion to deny. Right now, we don't have a second.
Let me just ask one more question. All your right restored and all that.
The original copies, I had to mail up for the name.
I have Commissioner Jackson is where he sent me a copy of the order from the court restoring his rights. I have yet to see a certified copy of conviction as is required to submit if you have a felony conviction.
What concerns me the most about this is I think there's probably an attempt on Mr. Blackman's part to demonstrate that he had some type of conviction. And he sent that paperwork in, whether it's not exactly filled out properly, but it's a disclosure. It's pretty much a full disclosure. The part that bothers me was in 2013, and we've got open titles, tag logs, all the bad stuff that happened at his dealership. Now, if someone came into this proceeding here, or if it came through legal review, I'm going to guess, I'm not going to say I'm going to guess, if there were a revocation of license suggested by the staff, it might pass given those occurrences. I'd like for the commission to keep that in context is, that's, to me, that's the big part. This is not good. Was there also a failure to respond in there, Ms.
Not that I saw, no, sir.
Okay, I'll take that back. So I asked the commission to consider that as much as the technical aspect of this. But with all that said, you know, all I'm hearing at this point is let's deny it and see what happens. Am I like to take another stab at Commissioner Clayton, or now we can leave it as you have it, and we'll wait for a second. And if we don't get one, I'll try to get another motion.
See, I sense that the state, these people, like to help him get back into business. Am I wrong? They've done a lot of work on it.
Well, it's a lot of work because it's been so screwed up.
True. I would like for us not to leave the door shut on him.
Well, it's not. He can reapply.
And then he can go.
I don't want to lead him down the road that he will be, if he redoes this, he will get granted. I don't want to lead him down that road. That wouldn't be fair to him. Days and reapply, is it the same apply? Wait 30 days?
Waive it? Has that ever happened? I guess you can.
He still have to answer that he's been convicted of a felony.
Record's going to show that.
Got to clean up his
Is that an automatic turn down?
Well, the first thing, I think Ms. Cooper hit on the walk up. We never received any papers about the felony. Papers that it was, he thought was expunged, which it wasn't. He got his rights back, but am I right, Kim? I
Yes,
don't
sir.
think we ever received the papers of the felony, did we?
As I stated, I have never seen a certified copy of conviction.
To have that.
I think giving him a redo is generous. All right, let's get back to, all right. Do we have an alternative motion out there?
Commissioner Jackson, I motion that we deny the dealership application.
Motion from Commissioner Jackson. Was there a second over here? I'll second. Okay, Commissioner seconds. We can discuss the motion now.
Can I add with my motion to waive the 30 days and deny the application? My motion again is to deny the application and waive the 30 days for reply.
Any further discussion? Or is there any discussion of this motion? And the motion is to deny but waive the 30-day waiting period for reapplication.
That will be a yes vote. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. McNabb.
Yes.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Webb. Yes. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Gavin.
Yes.
Mr. Murray. Yes. Mr. Trickett.
Yes.
Mr. Norton.
Yes.
And Mr. Clayton.
Yes.
Blackman, did you understand the action of the commission? You'll, without any promise, you'll need to reapply, but you don't have to wait 30 days.
The only question I have is, the only papers I got from the court is what I sent.
Here's what I would do. I would make a phone call to the staff and help you fill out this application. You tell them everything that you want to tell them, get it signed and send it back in. Is that staff willing to do that?
I think, I'll be honest with you, Rob might be speaking out of turn, but I think what he needs to do before he leaves here today,
Well, that's okay if the staff wants to do that. That's a logistical question, and I'll leave that up to the staff. All right. Are all the appeals finished?
Yes, sir.
My old business, Old business, the Human Resources Department has the ad out for executive director, which the ad expires January 16th. If you have an applicant that you would like to apply, put it in there, that's not already in there. January 16th, we'll close that out. We have, Commissioner Jackson, I'm going to have to guess at it. The first time I looked, we had 53. We've received about 15 more when we sent it out. So if you don't mind me guessing, I'd say 65 to 70. Further business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.